There it goes. I think it looks pretty damn good. Good, Grind Schoolers. It's your boy, Rob, and we back in the shop today. So today what we got going down is, man, we are going to do something special. I was real thirsty to, do this. I was supposed to get the stripes done, and they are pretty much done. I just got to cut them, and I got to lay some down on the fender, and then I got to lay the decals down and all that. But so I'm gonna say this. Shout out to Dash. If y'all follow me, go run over to Dash's Garage and go subscribe to his channel. He's doing big things with his P1 Cruiser, for one. For two, you know what I'm saying? He got that money, you know what I'm saying, where it need to be. As far as, getting his torque converter and everything like that and building boosts in the Monte Carlo. I need to stop by there and check him out or whatever. But he's been real instrumental in this Monte Carlo's build. And I say that to say, when we first got the car, he did so much work on the car for me. And I definitely appreciate it. I appreciate it, bro. He also gave me a couple of great ideas that I'm going to incorporate. And also, shout out to him because he's going to save me a ton of money on this transmission, because all I need is the output shaft and the tail shaft for the transmission to convert it from 4-wheel drive to 2-wheel drive. And he has a tail shaft and output shaft that he's gonna let me get from the transmission that he broke down. So shout out to him. I appreciate it, bro. But he gave me a good idea for the firewall, to do something with the firewall. I'll flip the camera around. I'll show you guys what I'm talking about. But if at first it was just going to be a blank firewall. We did kind of discuss what would go on the firewall if there was something to go on the firewall. And realistically, the only things that are going to go into the firewall are the AC lines. The fuel pressure regulator will not go on the firewall. Neither will the catch can, the oil catch can, because I want to showcase the smoothness of the firewall. And shout out to Dash again, because he actually welded in that plate for me so that you don't have the bolts around the plate or whatever. So anyways, I don't want to clutter up the firewall with a bunch of stuff. I want everything to be clean. I want all the wires hidden. I want everything to be tucked in a nice neat package. But in doing that, the firewall would be kind of blank. It would look like, nothing was there, and it would look kind of empty because there's no AC box. We're going to go with vintage air, and we're going to run the vintage air through the fender and back out the fender and through the firewall. You know what I'm saying? So you don't see the AC lines or nothing like that. And I'll show you guys what I'm talking about in a second. But the reason why I wanted to do it that way is because it's just a cleaner look. It's a cleaner look. And, my goal with this car, everything clean, everything, done meticulously, like I said in my last video. But anyways, man, I'm going to show you guys what I'm talking about. I'm going to flip this camera around and we'll go from there. But before we do that, go ahead, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and yeah, let's get into it. All right, you guys. So we are going to, I've been sanding the firewall down because we got to flow coat it. Got some of the imperfections out. There was a piece of trash here that flew into the paint when I did it, or when I painted the firewall, and that has been bothering me since, I first painted the firewall, and this was a year ago, I think, was when I painted the firewall. But anyways, I was racking my brain about how to get around, covering that up, because it is very noticeable. But then it's okay, it's in the engine bay, it's the firewall, it doesn't really matter. However, when you pop the hood to showcase the motor and stuff like that, you will see that it's very noticeable. It's like a piece of fiber. I don't know where it came from, but it got into the paint when I was spraying, and that's just how it went. Anyways, I figured out how to, for one, I was gonna cover it up with a catch can. But the catch can would be right above the header, where the header goes down underneath the car. I don't want anything flammable right here. You know what I'm saying? I know a lot of guys put their fuel pressure regulator on the firewall. I don't really like that personally, because It's literally, you know, if you have a fuel leak, it's leaking right down onto the header and it's instant fire. If you don't notice it, it's instant fire. So it's like, you know, that doesn't make any sense to me. The oil catch can, you know, you can run it there. But, you know, realistically, you know, shout out to Warren Gbody, you know what I'm saying? I know he's been off of YouTube for a minute, but hopefully bro come back. But he runs a catch can that on one of his motors that attaches to the drive assembly somehow. And I think I might do something similar because I am gonna run a oil catch can. And then also too, I asked him and I asked Dash how to run the fuel pressure regulator. And I think I'm gonna run mine like how Dash has his underneath the throttle. I mean, not the throttle body. Yeah, underneath the throttle body and intake. So it'll sit right there, like kind of like in the middle above the water pump and stuff like that. I think I'm gonna run it right there. It makes the most sense because obviously I can't run it in the middle because the wire harness has to come through there, and then there's really no other place. I'm not gonna attach it to the fender or nothing like that. I don't want anything over here in this section. I want it to be nice and clean. And then also too, I guess I could run it in the back of the intake, but I want you to be able to see it. I want everything to be nice, tucked, clean, and you know what I'm saying, pretty much out the way. So anyways, back to this. So Dash was like, hey, you should get Ray Ray the Saint to do gold leaf for, you know, something right here for the firewall. And I was like, you know what, that would be actually pretty dope. You know what I'm saying? So I decided to try this myself. We'll see if it works. It doesn't seem too difficult to do. However, you know what I'm saying? Like I created the template, you know what I'm saying? Like, and I cut out the inside pieces. So pretty much all I got to do is glue the inside, and then, you know, lay the leaf out. I'll show you guys the leaf in a second, what I decided to go with. I wanted to go with green, but I couldn't find the green color that matches perfectly with what I have. So we're gonna do it a little bit different, and then we're gonna outline it with the same stripes that's on the car. So I think it'll turn out really, really dope once we're done. And, you know, to be honest, I can't wait to get this done. I'm real thirsty. You know, it's early in the morning right now. The sun's just coming up, and I've been thirsty ever since I decided to order the leafing stuff. So like the glue, the leaf, and then the little thing that you do the spirals with. And I think it'll turn out pretty dope. So speaking of which, I got to tape down the piece, the A piece right there. So I'm gonna go ahead and do that. And then once we're done, you know what I'm saying? Like I said, I'll lay the glue down, and then my dilemma is figuring out when to lay the stripes to outline the leaf. Because if I do it, then I won't be able to sand the stripes down. So I might have to sand them down before I put them on the car. Like just lay out stripes, you know what I'm saying? Cut them, lay them down, sand them down. Matter of fact, that's exactly what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna lay them down, I'm gonna sand them down before I put them on the car, because what I don't wanna have happen is once I lay the stripes down, I don't wanna be so like trying to sand down the stripes and accidentally get into the leaf because the leaf will peel off. It's really fragile. So that's probably what I'll do, because you have to sand down the stripes and get the clear off in order to, you know what I'm saying, go back over. So anyways, that's exactly what we're gonna do. I'll get the A piece, and then I'll go ahead and start gluing inside of here, and then we'll start laying the leaf over the SS-NA. I think she's gonna be like, whoa. But yeah, this car about to be crazy, y'all. So let me go ahead and do that, and then I'll turn y'all on once I start leafing. All right, y'all. So here's the colors that I got. This one I thought was a little bit closer to turquoise, which is what this is. And you can see the color difference. And so I was like, man, maybe I should just run it. And I was on the phone with the homie. He was like, nah, bro, you can't do that. Like, you can't go this far and mess it up with, you know, colors that don't match. Like, you know, that's not the move. And I was like, dang, bro, but this is all they had, and I really wanted to work like that. Like, what do I do? And then so I started to think about black, started to think about rose gold, started to think about, you know what I'm saying, like other colors that I could go with, because this pearl paint has like a kind of like a rose gold pink hue to it, and you can kind of see it. Let's see. You can kind of see it like right here. It looks a little bit like pinkish looking, I guess you could say. And so it has like a rose gold hue to it a little bit. You know what I'm saying? You can catch it at certain angles, especially when the sun is gleaming on it and stuff like that. And I was like, maybe I should just do rose gold and whatever. But that didn't really make a lot of sense, because there's nothing on here that's really rose gold, like, you know. And so I was kind of like, all right, well, then what do I do? Because, you know, I don't want to do like a black one. Gold doesn't match. And, you know what I'm saying? The other thing is, this is the only color that, you know, whatever. And I started thinking about it. I'm like, yo, I could do silver. Because silver matches with everything, right? And so silver, I could do the silver and I could outline it with the green. And I was like, bet, that's exactly what I'm gonna do. Because obviously the motor, the three colors, primary colors for this whole entire color scheme, or four colors, I guess you could say: gray, black, green, and white. The whole car, nothing else is different colors besides obviously the other stuff, you know what I mean? The only thing that's red on the car is the QA1, or the Q for the QA1, you know what I'm saying? And then the caps on the QA1. That's it. And then also the upper control arms, but that's it. Like, nothing else is any other color, you know? And I was just like, okay, cool, that works. You know what I'm saying? Let's go ahead and do the silver and outline it with the green, and it should turn out pretty solid. And then, you know, he was like, exactly, you know what I'm saying? You should do that, but I would not mix the colors up, bro. You've gone too far matching everything to mess it up with that. And that's gonna be like a focal point. When I open up the hood at a car show or something and people look into the engine bay, they can really tell, like, yo, like, okay, you know what I'm saying, somebody got this built right. You know what I'm saying? My goal is to, you know, get people to ask, where you get your car built at? Right here in, you know what I'm saying, the grind school shop. You feel me? So anyways, I just wanted to say that, you know what I'm saying, we're gonna start getting to work. I know I'm, you know, yapping a lot, but I was just wanted to tell you guys how that came together and how I thought about, you know what I'm saying, making everything coordinate and getting stuff right. So anyways, man, I'm excited, and I had to do this because like I said, there's a lot of things that got to get done before I flow coat the car, and, you know, get everything done. And this is just one of them. So when I flow coat the car, I'll wrap up the firewall. You know what I'm saying? The stripes will be sanded down and everything like that. The decal will be sanded down. All of that stuff will be sanded down. I'll get everything together all at the same time. And then we could spray the front bumper and get that done. So everything is painted. The only thing I'm missing is a hood. So I got to get a hood, but it is what it is. I'll go ahead and grab the hood probably in the spring, because at that point, I will be out of time to spray anything. So I'll get the hood in the spring. Right now, it's not that important because it wouldn't be going on the car anyway. It'd just be sitting off in the corner somewhere. And I don't want to keep cluttering up space. I'm trying to optimize space. So anyways, that will get sprayed later and it's all good. Still got plenty of paint to do that. I just got to wait until, you know, it warms up again, which is cool because this ain't going to be driven until about the spring anyway. So anywho, let me go ahead and get to work and, you know, stop yapping. All right, y'all. Just like everything, you know what I'm saying? This is my first It's my first time doing anything like this, so we're gonna see what we got. I'm gonna try to make it to, try to do this to the best of our abilities. I guess this stuff takes 25 minutes to set up, so say open where extended attack time is required. It dries to translucent finish, clear up in water. It will be used straight from the bottle with no dilution. And porous, non-porous surface including wood, plastic, metal, glass. Proper tack will develop in 25 minutes. All right, so let me open it up real quick, get the brush. All right, y'all. So you could use a spray gun, but ain't got a spray gun, at least for this. So we just gonna use a brush. You know what I'm saying? We're gonna brush it on, let it tack up, and then we'll go ahead and lay down the foundation of this, man, or lay down the leafing. Yes, sir. I'm hoping that the paper peels like it needs to peel, though. You know, hopefully. We about to find out, though. Like I said, we're gonna find out how all this goes in a moment. If not, we'll just sand the paper out. We'll be good to go. I don't really know what time it is, so I guess I'll give it 25 minutes. Hopefully my kids don't wake up. I'm gonna saturate the area really good so that we get great contact everywhere. And I'm just using a little, you know what I'm saying, chip brush. This stuff don't seem too hard, so we gonna find out though, yeah. I said, just like everything else that I do, it's the first time. And then it just, you know what I'm saying, just enhances the skill set, I guess. So then I could just do leafing whenever I want to on little projects, if that's how we're gonna do, but we'll see where this takes us. Make sure we got all the edges pretty good everywhere. All right. That should be good. Let me go check the time. Or I guess I could just use my phone, and then we'll let it tack up and we'll start laying the leaf down. All right, y'all, so it looks like the glue has tacked up a little bit. It's been 25 minutes. It said it should be like a translucent color, which it is. So we're gonna go ahead and peel this stuff off, man. Be real gentle because this stuff is super fragile. And we're just gonna put it on there, man, and see what happens. I'm already messing up. Dang. All right, well, there's that first one, I guess. I already messed that one up. I'm supposed to do some overlap. And I already messed it up. So good. Like I said, this is my first time doing anything like this. All right, y'all. There definitely is an art to this for sure. You know what I'm saying? Like, I ain't even gonna hold you. Working with this leaf is not, you know what I'm saying, the easiest thing to do. And the reason why I say that is because it's very fragile. Very, 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 very fragile. Like, you know, so I'm just trying to make sure that I get all of the corners real nice and, you know what I'm saying, the way they need to be, around all of the edges. And then we'll go ahead and peel it off, man. I think it's all good to go after this, but this stuff is very, very, very fragile. Like, I'm barely touching it and it's just coming right off of there. So like I said, there definitely is an art to this, but you know, like I said, I'm just trying it for the first time. Who knows, might pick up a new skill set. So I'm gonna go ahead and try to peel the paper off and we'll see what we got. All right, y'all. So I did the dumbest ish ever with this SS. So where I'm standing at is on the side, or like on the outside of the fender, right? On the side of the car. But when I move to the front of the car, the SS is crooked. I don't know if y'all could tell that. But when I stand in front of the car, you could tell that the SS is crooked. So if I were to open up the engine bay and somebody were to, you know, see the motor, see everything, and, you know, especially probably when the motor is actually in the car, you could really tell that the SS is crooked. And so what I did was I used a level to level out the SS without considering that this whole section of the firewall is not, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's not parallel with the ground. Like, it's not like level, like as if I were to build something like with 2x4s or something. And so, not thinking, I was trying to match it up with the firewall or whatever, and try to make it straight. But since I made it straight, it looks crooked. But the firewall is like actually like slanted or whatever, you know what I mean? But anyways, what we're gonna do is we're gonna sand this down, sand that off, and we're gonna redo it. Unfortunately, you know, this sucks because, you know, like I gotta go back and, you know, redo it. But that was my first time leafing, and I did make a couple of mistakes. Like, you know, you could see like some of the paper wasn't like coming off the greatest, so I was like having to try to peel it off. I scraped it up with my razor blade a little bit. I tried to do the spiral leafing thing, but it just doesn't seem to be working like I thought it was gonna work. So I'm gonna scratch that idea. And yeah, there's just a few little mistakes that I wanna clean up and correct anyway. So we're gonna go ahead and sand this off, and then we're gonna redo it. I already got another template cut out, and we're gonna go ahead and throw that on there. All right, y'all. So hopefully we got it right this time. If not, I don't know, man. I mean, visually it looks right to me with the template on there. It's just kind of hard because the firewall, obviously it dips down, you know what I'm saying? And then it angles backwards and backwards that way. So it's like, what's really right? You know what I'm saying? So I really got to kind of eyeball it because I can't measure it from the top. I can't measure it from the bottom because the bottom is obviously not even. I can't measure it from the top because the top kind of angles upwards a little bit. I guess I could say I could make it kind of parallel with the side, but the side slants a little bit. So it's kind of like, man, I just got to eyeball it at this point, and hope that it turns out the way I need it to turn out. So, I mean, it looks good to me visually looking at it like this. But, yeah, I mean, we just got to, play it as it lies, I guess. And then, keep going, keep moving forward. I still got a little bit of sanding to do over here. So I'll knock that out. And then, yeah, we'll be ready to get this done, get everything done. And then hopefully we can get this thing in the flow coat real soon. I'm working. But let me go ahead and lay the glue down inside the SS's. And I taped the back of the paper as well, to kind of aid in some of that like extra work of trying to peel off the paper, because I knew this was going to be a problem the first time I did it, that the paper was going to stick down, and then it was going to be tough to like pull up, and it was going to rip up, and it actually did. But this time I taped the backside of everything, so we shouldn't have that issue. We should just be able to pull that thing right up off of there once the flake dries up. And yeah, once it tacks up and does what it does, I got plenty of glue, got plenty of flake, so I'm gonna go ahead and take that stuff out. I'm gonna tack it up right now. It takes about 25 minutes, given the temperatures, right? The temperature's not really right, but as soon as it turns translucent, then, you know what I'm saying, it should be good to go. I'm not gonna use gloves this time because that stuff was like sticking to the glove, and it kept folding over and it was making it difficult to work with. So I'm gonna just use my hands and go ahead and start sticking that stuff down. I should be using a roller. I need to find my roller. I don't know where the roller's at. It might be in the trunk of the Monte Carlo. So I'll look to see if the roller's in there. And if not, I'll just keep using my hand. And then, yeah, because I mean, it didn't turn out too bad. I actually like the look of it. So let me go ahead and use the glue it down. We'll go back through the process again and we'll finish this up once and for all. All right, y'all, that's much better. A lot less cleanup this time because I decided, like I said, to tape the backside of everything, and that tape doesn't really stick like paper does. So a lot less cleanup, thankfully. And so now what we gotta do is we just gotta do our little outlines and we'll be good to go, man. But the E looks a little too close to the A, but whatever. Yeah, I was nervous peeling it off, because the flake kind of, I didn't want the flake to peel up with it, but it looks like everything was good. So we're gonna go ahead and let this set up, let it dry. And yeah, I mean, I don't know, man, my first time trying flake. I know there's a technique to it. I know that, people can get it super good to where it's not bubbled like that, but I don't know how to do it. Don't really care. I think it looks fly. And once we do our outline, it's really gonna come to life. And then spray the clear over it. Man, you know what I'm saying? It's gonna be nice. So let me let this set up. I'm gonna let it dry. I think I'm gonna be done right now. And then after it warms up a little bit in here, I'll go ahead, come back out, lay the stripes down, or clean it up first, lay the stripes down, and then we'll call this done. That looks a lot better to me than what it was. It was like crooked like this the first time. And like I said, I was standing over here trying to lay it down and I was leveling it, and I didn't account for the angling of the firewall. So I think it's gonna look dope. I mean, it is what it is. I mean, especially when, I have the garage open and the sun is shining on it and you can see the green and the contrast. It looks super fly. So hopefully I can catch that for y'all. But if not, then, you just have to see it like that until it's all the way done. And then, yeah, we'll play it as it lies, man. All right, y'all. So now y'all can kind of see how we coming. You know what I'm saying? We got to chop off all the edges, obviously, and then clean up some of this glue here. But you can see what it's starting to shape up like, you know what I mean? Like, I already went back through with the little brush to get all the excess flake off of there. And then this is how it lies, man. I'm sure that, you know, if I had the little spray gun, it would probably come out a lot better. But I only just used a brush to get these bubbles and stuff. Those shouldn't be there, I'm assuming, but it is what it is, man. I think it still looks fire, regardless of the situation, how it came out. Don't really care. It looks nice to me, and we rocking with it. So I'm gonna shave off these edges, and then show you guys the actual full effect. And then I also got to break out the heat gun so I can get around these corners. It's real hard to get around these corners. I might have to redo this one because it's like kinked up right there, and I don't want any of that. But the S is gonna be real difficult to get around. So especially the real tight corners. So I'm gonna go ahead and take my time there and, you know, really work it so that it's really nice. But for now, I'm gonna take care of the N, the A, and the E, get those edges cut off, and then, you know, I'll show y'all what it looks like without all the extra, because right now it looks like, you know, like a sketch. You know, when you do a sketch and you like overhang the edges so that you can get the right, you know, angling and everything that you got to do when you sketch. That's what it looks like right now. So let me cut these edges off. I'm just using a razor blade. I'm gonna chop the edges off, and then yeah, we'll see what it looks like. All right, y'all, there it goes. I think it looks pretty damn good. There's still some cleanup that needs to happen. Like obviously the E needs to be finished. I ran out of the stripes that I sanded down, because obviously I had to sand them down before I laid them down, so that when I re-clear over it, the clear is gone. Still got to clean up some of this sparkly stuff, and then I'm gonna connect the N and the A, because the E and the A are connected. So yeah, I mean, I think it's it turned out really, really good. You know what I'm saying? Like, I think once we clear over it, it's gonna be, and I did all of that by hand. I did all the cutting by hand, laid the striping by hand. Obviously, you guys saw me put the flake on there, you know what I'm saying, by hand. There's a technique to do it, but I think it turned out dope like this. I think that's fire, super fire. So anyways, you know, that's gonna conclude this. We're done with it. I gotta still sand some more down where you can kind of see the clear spots. I'll sand some more of that down, and then I got most of the decals laid. So we'll, you know, you guys will see that in the next video or whatever. But I'm almost to the point where I can, you know, lay the clear down. I know I keep saying that in every video, but it's just been so meticulous with doing all of this extra stuff, all this extra work, just trying to be as unique and as dope as possible. And shout out to Dash for the idea. I think it came out pretty dope. And then my vintage air is gonna go through the firewall right there. So that's why I left some space over here to the left, because I need the vintage air to go through there. So, but yeah, man, everything is, man, it's turning out so fire. But and I'm glad that the sun is actually shining through the garage, so that you can kind of actually see like the sparkle and stuff like that. But once I sand everything back down and you can see the firewall at the same time, it's man, it's gonna be crazy. It's gonna be super crazy. All right, grind schoolers, that's gonna do it for this video, man. I hope y'all enjoyed it. Like I said, I'm being real meticulous with this car. I'm doing the best that I can, laying everything down, like the stripes, the decals, making sure that all the imperfections are fixed, so that when this car rolls out of the garage, it's, you know what I'm saying, like I said before, chef's kiss. That was Dash's idea, to do some type of flaking on the firewall. And shout out to my boy Patrick, because he's the one that actually like told me like, nah, bro, you know what I'm saying, you can't go with the color that, you know what I'm saying, I had ordered. And I'm glad that he told me that. I'm glad that I was on the phone with him when I was showing him everything that was like happening. And I think it turned out great. The green outline with the silver, it matches the motor perfectly. It matches the gray interior, everything matches to a T. Like, you know what I'm saying? I'm think of like a wedding, you know what I'm saying? Like, when you go to a wedding and, you know, the groom and all that kind of stuff and the bride, they match to a T, you know what I'm saying? You got your nice white suit on with the turquoise shirt and, you know, your white tux or whatever I guess it would be, you know what I'm saying? With a turquoise shirt with the flower and all your groomsmen and the bridesmaids, they all match, got green dresses, a white dress, all that type of stuff. Everybody matching to a T, color coordinated, everything. That's what I equate this car to. Everything color coordinated, matched to a T perfectly. You know what I'm saying? There's no half stepping. There's no none of that. And I'm thrilled because I'm the creator of this. You know what I'm saying? The wife gave me the colors and told me to go run with it. And I'm pretty damn impressed with how everything is coming out. But anyways, man, I'm gonna go ahead and conclude this video because I still got a lot of work to do. Before I can flow coat the car. We're getting there. We're almost done. I just got to sand down the decals, do my last final pass of sanding the car down, lay the decals on the fender, and we're done. We're done. We can finally flow coat the car, and then it's done. And yeah, I mean, we're getting there. We're getting there. We're getting there. Oh, I got to get the bumper and fix that up a little bit. And then we can put everything all the way, well, got to cut and buff it, and then we'll put everything all back together, put the windows in, put the lights in, you know what I'm saying, put the license plate back in, we'll put the inner fender wells in, we'll spray the cowl, so that's all nice and done and cleaned up and everything's good to go. And we'll start working on the transmission, get the cross member, get the transmission and I got to get a torque converter and all that, get the motor and transmission made it, and get it together, and we'll put it in the car. So, hey, I don't know what to say, man. I'm thoroughly impressed, but, you know, we'll see. But anyways, man, go ahead, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. And always remember, work hard so you can live free.